Good morning, 2G. So nice to see you. Let's go ahead and get started with where we left off in chapter 5. I hope you're all having a nice Thursday so far. Here we go. While Goonie Bird was late for school because she was directing a symphony orchestra, once upon a time, in fact, it was just this morning, Goonie Bird Green got up and got dressed in the clothes that she had carefully laid out the night before. She ate her breakfast, brushed her teeth with her pre-pasted toothbrush, gathered up her homework, put on her elbow-length gloves, and started off to the Water Tower Elementary School. Goonie Bird interrupted herself. She explained to the teacher and the class, "Sometimes stories start in the most ordinary way. Then then they become excited when something unexpected happens. Don't you find that to be true?" I do find that to be true, actually. The children nodded, thinking about their favorite stories. Like Where the Wild Things Are, Ben suggested. Or Little Red Riding Hood, Beanie said. When the wolf appears and you don't expect it. "Oh, I'm so scared of that wolf," Kiko whispered loudly. "Every time the wolf appears, Shh, the children said. Goonie Bird continued. Goonie Bird walked down Park Street and turned the corner into Walnut Street. And when she was halfway down Walnut Street, halfway to school, suddenly, there's that word, suddenly, she paused. "I've explained it before," she said, "about the word suddenly. It makes things exciting. Sometimes, class, if you're creating a story and you get stuck, just say the word suddenly and you won't have any trouble continuing at all." "What a good idea," Mrs. Pigeon said. "We should start a list called Writing Tips." "What happened suddenly on Walnut Street, Goonie Bird?" Goonie Bird continued. Suddenly, she saw an enormous red and white bus coming very slowly. Each window had a head in it. The bus was quite full of people. Goonie Bird was amazed. Even though she had lived in Water Tower only a short time, about a week, she knew that the town of Water Tower did not have enormous red and white buses. Water Tower had 2 medium-sized yellow school buses, Goonie Bird said. And she knew also that one of the Water Tower churches had a small white bus, really a long van, that had a rainbow painted on it. But an enormous red and white bus was completely new to Water Tower. As Goonie Bird watched, it moved very, very slowly down Walnut Street. She could see that the driver, though he was steering carefully, was also trying to look at a map in his hands. The bus driver saw Goonie Bird and he beeped his horn, a very small beep. He pulled the bus to a stop with a breathy sound of brakes. Then he pushed the handle and opened the folding door. "Excuse me," the bus driver said. "You look as if you're on your way to school." "Yes, I am," Goonie Bird replied, "and I certainly don't want to be late. I am never, ever late." The bus driver looked as if he might begin to cry. "I feel exactly the same way," he said. "I am never, ever late, but this morning I have a terrible problem." He held up his unfolded map. At this point in the story, maybe you might want to make an inference on what you think his problem is, based off of what you know and the text clues. All right, let's continue. "Do you need help folding your map?" Goonie Bird asked. "It is hard to fold a map, but I find that if you follow the creases very carefully—" "No," the bus driver said. "My problem is that I'm lost." So if you made that inference, excellent job, 2G. "Oh dear," Goonie Bird said. And the driver continued. "We are going to be late for a concert." "A concert?" "Yes, I have an entire symphony orchestra on the bus." Goonie Bird paused. "Questions about orchestras?" she asked. "Class?" Barry Tuckerman was waving his hand wildly. We know all the parts of an orchestra. We listened to A Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. Winds, Ben called. Strings, Trisha called. She pretended to play an imaginary violin. Brass, Chelsea called. She tried to make a trombone noise, not very successfully. Percussion, said Malcolm loudly, and he began to tap his two pencils in rhythm on his desktop. And also, Barry called out, his hand still waving, we listened to Peter and the Wolf. Oh, Kiko said in a small voice. I hate when the wolf comes. Every time the wolf appears, Shh, the children said. Goonie Bird continued. So Goonie Bird climbed up the steps and got on the bus. Every seat was filled. There were men and women in the bus, all of them dressed in black. All the men were wearing black turtleneck shirts. The women were all wearing long black skirts. They definitely looked like an orchestra, but they looked very distressed. So if you ever hear that word distress, it means something is wrong. So again, you can maybe make another inference, draw a conclusion why you think their faces might be looking very distressed right now. Where are you supposed to go? Goonie Bird asked the bus driver. All right, and we are going to stop there for today. Tomorrow is Friday. We'll continue reading chapter 5. Enjoy your Thursday. As always, know that I'm thinking about you. I miss you so much. If you ever have something you want to share with me, please send me an email. I'm looking forward to next week when we can start some live interactions. I can't wait to see your smiling faces. Enjoy your Thursday. Bye.